Good afternoon, welcome back viewers. This is Sage, you're watching 𝐊𝐶𝐞 TV live from the Sydney studio, and this is the last show of the day, the last trade. Let's get started with today's market close commentary. The buy now pay later firm 𝐊𝐚𝐥𝐤𝐢𝐧𝐞 Limited and Afterpay Limited are the top percentage losers on the ASX today, and 𝐊𝐴XJO, Australia's benchmark index. The sharp losses follow an overnight sell-off on Wall Street that sapped the risk appetite for the risk-sensitive stocks. And the tech stocks emerged as the top losers amid the ongoing Chinese tech rout and a weaker closing of the Nasdaq, which pulled back on Thursday in a broad sell-off in the US stocks. Buy now, pay later giants Afterpay and 𝐊𝐴XJO, as well as Nearmap, were the top losers on the board. And besides the tech firm Xero Limited, software solutions provider WiseTech Global Limited and data centre operator NextDC Limited also ended in the red. And in a similar trend, the Australian healthcare stocks ASX dragged as much as 1.5%, posting their second consecutive session of losses. And sector heavyweights CSL Limited, medical device maker PolyNovo Limited and disinfecting device maker Nanosonics Limited were among the top losers in the healthcare sector. And let us now take a quick look at the stocks that created a buzz today. Having a look at the first big news, shares of Silk Logistics Holdings made the strong debut on the ASX today, surging 22.5% to $2.45 Australian on the first day of trading. The offer of 70 million Australian dollars received strong support from investors, taking the market capitalisation to 151 million Australian dollars at the time of listing. And the offer includes a primary raise of 10 million Australian dollars and a secondary raise of 60 million Australian dollars. Another debutante, Charger Metals, also witnessed strong buying on the first day of trading. The Australian-based minerals company Charger Metals surged 17.5% to 23.5 cents on the ASX debut in an otherwise weak broader market. The battery minerals and precious metals project owner has raised 6 million Australian dollars by issuing 30 million shares at 20 cents each. And let's move on now to the next ASX listed stock. The buy now pay later firm Humm Group slipped as much as 4.5%, down to 96.5 cents on likely exposure to the Forum Finance fraud case. And the firm said its managed services division dealt with equipment financier Forum Finance between 2016 and 2018 regarding the equipment finance to several vendors. It added that the unit was shut down in 2018 and its assets sold to a third party and transferred off Humm's balance sheet. And meanwhile, this ASX listed stock is in the news today as well. The share price of Abacus Property Group was trading higher with marginal gains after the property group said the value of its property portfolio climbed 140 million Australian dollars, and that was current at 30th June 2021. As at 30th June, commercial property made up 1.9 billion Australian dollars in value, with self-storage at 1.4 billion Australian dollars. Let's move on now. The shares of the high street retailer Myer Holdings fell 1.15% to 43.5 cents on Friday, and the overall state of the stock ended the week on a solid note as it witnessed surges in buying after the top investor, Premier Investments, raised its stake in the company to 15.77% earlier in the week. Next up, shares of Fee rose as much as 6.8% to 6.3 cents after the iron ore producer said it has executed port contracts at its JWD iron ore project located in the goldfields. The company said it has signed a port access and services deal and a licence agreement for the storage and handling of iron ore at its Geraldton port, and added that its crush and screen plant is now operational and final product is accumulating, ready for haulage to port. And now, before we look at more shares that are in the news today, it's time for a short break.
Hi, This is Andy Liu broadcasting from 𝐊𝐚𝐥𝐤𝐢𝐧𝐞 Media Studio in Australia, and I'll be hosting the new 𝐊𝐚𝐥𝐤𝐢𝐽 Wellness Show. The half-hour show will cover topics from how wellness as a concept has become even more significant during COVID, to how becoming vegan may improve your health, and much more. We are excited to showcase our live streaming show to our audience of millions overseas and in Australia. Tune in to 𝐊𝐚 TV and join me.
Welcome back, viewers. Thank you for joining us. This is Sage and you are watching 𝐊𝐚 TV live from the Sydney studio, and this is the last show of the day, the last trade. Let's take a look now at more shares that are in the news today. And the shares of Viking Mines rose as much as 41.2% to 2.4 on the gold prospects in Western Australia's project. The gold miner said 2 of the 6 holes reported have been reviewed, and visible gold has been sighted in multiple zones in both holes. In the first hit project in Western Australia, the company said the holes form part of the depth extension drilling and provide positive encouragement for continuation of mineralisation at depth for the project. And next up, medicinal cannabis supplier Can Group shares gained as much as 3.8% to 41.5 cents on Friday. The company stated it has recovered about 1.2 million Australian dollars as of 3.6 million lost in a cybersecurity incident announced on the 8th of February. And moving on now to the next company, shares of annuities provider Challenger dropped 2.17% to $5.85 Australian, in line with the benchmark indices. The company shares soared more than 13% on Wednesday after the company said it had sold an 18% stake in itself to retirement services provider Athene Holding Limited and private equity firm Apollo Global Management. And now we're going to go through the update from the ASX listed stocks. The share price of Lithium Energy jumped 6% to 36 cents after the company confirmed its plans to pursue commercial opportunities for using graphene produced from its 100% owned Burke Graphite Deposit. And Burke Graphite Deposit is located in the northwest of Queensland and is one of the highest grade graphite deposits in the world, held by an Australian listed company. Taking a look at the next ASX listed share. Snapping a 2-session gaining streak, the Sydney Airport shares dropped 1.5% to $7.71 Australian on Friday, amid tightening of the lockdown measures in the country, and overall the stock closed week on positive notes. So closed the week on a positive note after it received 22.26 billion Australian dollar takeover bid on Monday, and the company fetched a $8.2 or $8.25 per share offer from a consortium consisting of infrastructure investors, IFM Investors, Q Super and Global Infrastructure Partners. And while a consortium led by Macquarie Group was also considering a rival bid, the board of company is yet to take a final call on the proposal. And moving on now to the next ASX listed share, the share price of the exploration firm QEM gained as much as 35% to 21 cents after the company provided an update on the development of its Julia Creek vanadium and oil shale project in North Queensland. It also updated about assessment of green hydrogen opportunities on site at the project. And now, before we look at more shares that are in the news today, it's time for a short break. Property by 𝐊𝐚. Looking for a dream home? Well, that may sound easy, but it isn't. And from looking for a property that is the right fit for you in terms of cost and other factors, to zeroing down on the right mortgage plan, there are various aspects to consider. And for the latest lowdown on the property market, tune in on 𝐊𝐚 TV with me, Sage. I will give the latest updates on the property market as well as real estate stocks to help you make the right decision. Keep watching Property with 𝐊𝐚. Welcome back, viewers. Sage here. You're watching 𝐊𝐚 TV live from Sydney, and this is the last show of the day, the last trade, and let's look at more shares that are in the news today. Clean Energy Explorer Hexagon Resources shares ended lower after the company said it had lodged the Mine Management Plan, or MMP, for its Pedurka project with Northern Territories Government. And taking a look at the next, ASX listed share drug maker Althea Group Holdings closed higher after the company said that its subsidiary has secured a deal, and the manufacturer and distributor of pharmaceutical cannabis products said that its Canadian subsidiary Peak Processing Solutions has signed a manufacturing agreement with Delshen Therapeutics Corp. And finally, let us explore the next ASX listed company. Copper and gold miner Hot Chili rose over 3% after the company unveiled its intentions to list in Canada on the TSX Venture Exchange, or the TSXV, by the end of 2021. The move of dual listing in Canada is a crucial step for funding and developing the company's large-scale Costa Fuego copper-gold project in Chile. And moving on, let's look at the Asian market performance. The Asian stocks were also bleeding in the red, barring Hong Kong and Singapore, as concerns about the coronavirus situation in parts of the region dented investor sentiments. And Japan's Nikkei was the worst performer in the region and fell as much as 2.5% after the country declared a state of emergency in Tokyo to contain the continued virus spread just 2 weeks ahead of the spectator-free Olympic Games. Thailand's SET Composite and Seoul's Kospi also dropped over 2% today. China's Shanghai Composite was down 0.7% and India's BSE Sensex traded 0.2% lower. Bucking the trend, however, Hong Kong's Hang Seng rebounded 0.65%, while Singapore's Straits Times rose 0.35%. And in the overnight trade, the US markets ended lower. The Dow Jones fell 0.75%. The S&P 500 index lost 0.86%. The tech-focused Nasdaq Composite dropped 0.72%. Thanks for joining us on that report and all our reports for this week. That's all for now in the last trade. And with our existing operations in Australia, New Zealand, UK and Canada, 𝐊𝐶𝐼NE Media has launched its operations in the US markets. And every day in our first show, the Global Market Updates, you can get the latest and important news of the US and the UK markets from the overnight happenings. So on that note, we shall see you as close as possible to 10 a.m. Monday live from the Sydney studio. And this is Sage signing off.